everywhere. You don't have the camera rolling all the time. What is that going to suggest? What is that going to say? And so they probably had, I don't want to say they were doctored, but the confession tapes probably made the boys look more guilty than they were. Because
the perception that if you have one school district that is full in-person and then you have another that's full virtual and they happen to be near each other, there really are different dynamics that come into play in terms of what your community wants and needs, what your space looks like, and your level of risk that you are willing to take. And what we've seen is that a third of the districts in the country are fully online, a third are in a hybrid like we are, and then a third are fully in person. And there is no one magic way to do it. You have districts that have excess space. We are not one of those districts. We've built 2 buildings in the last couple of years because we were out of space, so we can't spread out. But there's always trade-offs. Could you end up having to change teachers? Could you have to change schedules? There's all of these little nuances to try to navigate through. We're trying to be as flexible as we can, but we're nearing the threshold where we could have to do some bigger changes if we go to more in person.
That article of America First. So sit here for a second. If you cannot read it, I'll turn the light back off.
Transportation has been really affected. We've had to ask our parents to drive our kids as much as possible. We can't find enough bus drivers to run enough routes to keep the kids spaced on buses. That's been a challenge. Vaccine rollouts. Washington County looks like we're the lowest percentage of our educators getting vaccinated. That is having an effect on our ability to get more in person. If the community spread is lower than it is now in this area, we would have a better chance to be in person full time at the lowest grade. And to do it safely. All the research, what you see comes out, they read the headlines, and if the headline says school is safe, it didn't say school is safe if community infection rates are below this number and these spacing protocols and all these other protocols are in place. Then it's safe. To get 30 students in a classroom with the right protocols is not possible. To do it safely, we can get a certain number of kids in a room. And it's whether parents and our staff and community is okay with not being perfect at the 6 feet. And that's a challenge to try to work through. And there's a level of trust we've built with our families over the years that we don't want to violate. And we want to make sure it is too high of a risk to let a staff member or a community member get infected because of something we did knowing it was risky. So we're trying to not be reckless.